Welcome to Business Reporter's IoT for Business campaign. I'm Rachel Hicks. By 2025, there are set to be some 27 billion Internet of Tomorrow connections worldwide. These promise to make communication, availability of data, tech innovation and more vastly more efficient. But the proliferation of connected devices also presents problems. Chief among them is the opportunity it provides for digital security breaches. With each new connection, a hacker is gifted a new opening into an individual or company's personal data. 3 years ago, the UK government introduced new legislation to fend off the threat posed by cybercrime. This was followed by warnings that some 95% of companies and other business or public sector entities in the UK lack a clear understanding of what this legislation means, how it will affect them, and what they must do to ensure their systems are compliant. Some require updates to their IT software. Others need to entirely overhaul their computing infrastructure. Or indeed, does something even greater need to be done to ward off the approaches of hackers? A sea change in how we actually view the importance of digital security for the well-being of a business. Hayden Povey from IAR Systems joins us today. Hayden, hello.
Hello.
Now, legislation around digital security has undergone significant transformation and the number of connected digital devices has increased. Tell us what's changed and how these two areas intersect.
So you're absolutely right. We see the number of connected devices growing exponentially towards 1 trillion connected devices over the next decade. What we are seeing is governments now stepping in to lead with legislation around digital security, particularly to protect consumer IoT. So where we're taking digital devices into people's homes, offices and cars, obviously there's a lot of private data and there's a lot of issues around potential compromises and what we need to do to update and manage those devices over the long time.
So how has the new legislation impacted businesses?
Primarily it's coming through as regulation. So recently we've had a new European standard, the EN 303645 standard, which basically gives 13 best practices which people have to implement into their systems. That's actually based off original work that we did in the UK with DCMS and the National Cybersecurity Centre. It's also going global with Australia, Singapore, China and others taking it on. And most recently in the US, the administration signed the IoT Cybersecurity Improvement Act, forcing all federal agencies to purchase secure devices.
Can you give us another example of a company that perhaps doesn't really understand the legislation nor how important it is to take digital security of its connected devices as seriously as it might?
The reality today is that most companies are in that situation. Only 5% of devices are containing sufficient security today, which means 95% aren't. People are struggling because of lack of experience, of knowledge, of implementation, and we need to bring that capability into the mainstream development environment. There are many aspects of how bad security impacts companies. So obviously the injection of malware, but also theft of intellectual property. It's estimated by the EU that impacts $600 billion a year just in the EU.
Can you tell us what you offer to companies impacted by this new legislation?
We actually enable customers and partners to define their security profile. What are the risks that they are protecting against? For example, protecting against malware and enabling updates and things along those lines. And that's called their security profile. So we can help them define that security profile and then turn that into an out-of-the-box security context, which means that their existing applications can just be ported to run on a secure platform without changing their devices, their chips, and without having a major cost impact.
But there are already products that offer this type of service in this area. So why is yours, or how is yours, different?
So we have a philosophical difference in approach because of the type of organisation we are around security. So today, traditionally, many people will add additional chips or layers of software on top of the application to try and protect it. It's valid, but we think that it increases the cost and reduces actually the flexibility. Our approach as IAR Systems is to leverage the development ecosystem that we have. As IAR Systems, we have 47,000 OEM customers, over 170,000 active developers on a daily basis. And what we want to do is enable each and every one of those people with security, so it becomes part of the development flow. Because we have so many existing users already using our development platforms, we have the ability to apply security at scale. Do it quickly, do it early, impact midlife, update cycles of devices, and fundamentally change the way the world does security.
And connected devices do offer incredible scope. What do we need to do to ensure that our experience with them is mostly positive?
The first thing that we have to do, of course, is trust them. If we stop trusting the devices in our homes, in our lives, we'll just not use them. The challenge is that privacy is a very delicate and challenging domain. One person's private data is another person's mine of information on what to sell you. So we need to have very clear regulation around the collection of private data, how that's used in services, and what happens at the end of products. So you have to be able to void private data, or when you sell a product on, people often sell their cars on, they don't keep them until they stop running. And we have to be able to take all of the private data out of there. But privacy, again, has to be built on the foundations of security. It's only by getting that right, having the right frameworks and having the right solutions out of the box that we're going to be able to manage the data problem in the Internet of Things and allow all of these devices to talk to each other, communicate and deliver the services we want.
It's an intriguing future. Hayden, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us today.
Thank you.